Yes, it's not anybody's house but America's, right? It's not, I don't know, it's not Nancy Pelosi's, it's not even Donald Trump's, it's ours, the American people's house. But if you listen to what CNN had to say, if you listen to CNN's recent promo, by the way, Keeping It Real with Alexander Garrett, if you listen to what CNN wrote in their promo for the State of the Union, you'd think otherwise.
The State of the Union address. President Trump in Nancy Pelosi's house with the threat of another government shutdown in the air. The State of the Union address. Special live coverage starts tomorrow night at 8 on CNN.
On CNN. But again, CNN, I remind you, it's
our house in the middle of our street. Our house
in the middle of Washington. It's our house, and Donald Trump will be in our House of Representatives. Because remember, we all elect these people there to represent in the Congress, to represent in the Senate. We elect all of them, so it's our house, it's our capital. Nobody else's, CNN. It's the American people. It's not her house, per se. It's the American people's house. And Donald Trump will be presiding in it tonight, addressing the American people, doing the State of the Union. And it's a pretty bold prediction to make, I know. But the way I see it is that Pelosi will be just overcome with the raucous cheering for Trump. I believe he'll get a lot of cheers tonight at a lot of his talking points. Some might even stand up for him. I don't know. But Pelosi will notice this. She'll be exposed to something she hasn't been exposed to, which is other people's opinions. She's all wrapped up in her world in the Capitol and not even caring what other people say. But tonight, she's forced to hear what the American people are feeling, what those in Congress are actually feeling about keeping our border safe. So she will notice this. She will maybe have a change of heart, and she will actually provide funding, or the funding will get done after the State of the Union tonight. One way or another, I feel it coming. It may not take till the 15th of February. Let's put it that way. Because if you're anybody in such a bubble that you're moved, that you're so wrapped up in, how could you not be moved by the response to the outside world of the House of Representatives? When you're bringing Trump in, you're bringing the outside perspective in. And I think it's going to change a lot of people's hearts and minds tonight. I've got a feeling. But you know what I wonder, and what I would advise, and I don't know if he's going to do it tonight, but I would reference what happened in our own city, in Trump's own borough of Queens.
What we know here now, as we sit about 24 hours out of the incident, that the individual that we have in custody is an individual that is known to us. He is a gang member. He is in our criminal group database as an MS13 member.
We'll come back to that cut because there's a little more to it. But that's right. The 7-train attacker that opened fire on a subway platform. Bill de Blasio, is that what you want our city to become? By the way, that opened fire on our very own beloved subway platforms is an MS-13 member. Trump's got to hit that point tonight because it's his own city, it's his own borough, and according further to the NYPD, yeah, there have been a rise of MS-13 attacks in our borough, in our city.
MS-13 is something that as recently as a couple months ago, we had the incident in the Rockaways where the individual was lured to a park and shot and killed. Within a few days of that incident, we had an incident not very far away in Nassau County. So we have had several incidents involving MS-13. There's been a number of cases specifically targeting them by our investigators, and we'll continue to target any group that does violence in New York City.
Now, okay, that's great. I'm glad you're targeting them and working to get them off our streets. But unfortunately, it took a 7-train attack, which de Blasio really hasn't addressed. In fact, one of the last times he talked about MS13. He didn't really mention him by name, but he did say he wanted to jail and deport MS13 gang members.
Donald Trump has told me repeatedly in conversations, he'll often say, things are great in New York City. They're great. Great. Crime is down. Things are great. He'll acknowledge openly that New York City has gotten safer, and then he'll turn around and attack immigrants and try and paint a very few disgusting gang members. Don't get me wrong. I want to get all those guys in jail, too, and deport it.
Now, okay, it might be that he paints a broad brush, but those people, those MS-13 gang members, are literally taking advantage of our borders and coming through and infiltrating us, Mayor Bill. But listen to this one part.
Don't get me wrong. I want to get all those guys in jail, too, and deport it.
Really? Really, Mayor de Blasio? By the way, how come no one asks him about this at the press conferences? How come he has to keep hidden that there's a rise in MS-13 in our own city? It's moved from Long Island. It's now in our city, according to the NYPD yesterday. How come no one says, well, guess what? You said this.
Don't get me wrong. I want to get all those guys in jail, too, and deport it.
But listen to the criminal history of the MS-13 member that shot a rival gang member on the subway platform in broad daylight among actual New Yorkers.
What we know here now as we sit about 24 hours out of the incident, that the individual that we have in custody is an individual that is known to us. He is a gang member. He is in our criminal group database as an MS-13 member. He has been arrested before in New York City. And in fact, he has been part of a criminal group gang case before in New York City.
So he's been arrested. He's been arrested. And I thought you wanted to jail and deport him, Mayor Bill.
Don't get me wrong. I want to get all those guys in jail, too, and deport it.
But why is he still here then? Why is he still here? Why aren't you being challenged on this, Bill de Blasio? And for President Trump, you mention it time and time again when an illegal or a gang member, MS-13 gang member, attacks. You use those examples as reasons why we need a border. Today should be no exception, President Trump. Tonight should be no exception. It's confirmed. This confirms it. And apparently it's been on the rise that MS-13 is in our borders of New York City. And I haven't heard of one peep from the mayor about it. One peep. And then we've got the governor up in New York State, up in Albany, saying, God forbid the rich leave. Well, if you didn't tax them so much, they wouldn't leave. If you didn't tax them so much, we wouldn't be in a $2.3 billion tax revenue deficit, Governor Cuomo. That's the bottom line. That right there is the bottom line. Look, New York State's becoming a dog and pony show. We know that. We've known that. It's just coming to light even more. But what President Trump needs to do at the State of the Union tonight is amplify, is really magnify that his own city is now in trouble, is now afflicted with MS-13. The NYPD said it yesterday.
MS-13 is something that as recently as a couple months ago, we had the incident in the Rockaways where the individual was lured to a park and shot and killed. Within a few days of that incident, we had an incident not very far away in Nassau County. So we have had several incidents involving MS-13. There's been a number of cases specifically targeting them by our investigators, and we'll continue to target any group that does violence in New York City.
And you wouldn't know that if this attack doesn't happen. You wouldn't know that if you listen to de Blasio, because de Blasio makes it sound like, oh, there's no problem here. He forgets to mention there's been a rise in MS-13 gang activity. So why the silence there, Mayor? You complain, you whine, you are disgusted with the way Trump is, but in our own city, you're quite quiet about how disgusting it is MS-13s are in our own borders. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I didn't have a chance to talk to you yesterday about the whole Super Bowl. I was mildly impressed, but unimpressed on the whole, because I thought Rams offense would show up a little more, but Brady's Patriots did it. And Belichick's Patriots did it more so. Remember, Belichick was a defensive guy, and so his defense shutting down Goff was remarkable. Sean McVay saying he got outcoached. Tom Brady driving it into one Gronkowski, and then the run-in from a couple of yards out to give the Patriots a 10-3 lead. They will win 13-3. But remember last year when all the flurry of all these coaches leaving, the Patriots just lost their defensive coordinator. Did you know that? The Patriots just lost their defensive coordinator. Because he took a head coaching job. As Brian Flores now goes down to Miami to become their head coach. So congratulations to him. Moving on with the ring to try and fix up Florida. Miami, rather. Trying to fix up Miami. And then you've got the actual quarterback coach for the Rams. The guy who helped Jared Goff is also taking a position elsewhere. And these are interesting. The day after the championship is over, Zach Taylor, the QB's coach, is now going to be the Bengals head coach. So we'll see a new look coaching staff for both sides. And it's not reported, but it's fascinating to me. The day after Patriot defense does what they do, their defensive coordinator goes. The day after Goff gets utterly fooled and utterly outplayed by the defense of the Patriots, his quarterback's coach goes. So those moves are happening. One move that we're all waiting for, two moves rather, is Bryce Harper and Manny Machado. I don't know what's going to happen there. I do know that I'm excited because it's above 50 degrees and I want to play two, guys. I want to play 2 games of baseball a day now with the weather in the 50s right now. Because baseball is now on the front and center of people's minds. What do the Yankees do? Do they end up getting Machado? What does Bryce do? Does he end up going someplace? And I shouldn't say front and center because he's still got Anthony Davis. And this was the other thing. Anthony Davis wanted to be traded, now has some deals. One news report says the Lakers may not get him. Now then they say, oh, look, he looks at Instagram. He likes an Instagram post by the Lakers. Maybe he wants to go. Oh, that's all speculation. It's amazing in today's world how a like, whether it be Antonio Brown of the Niners, whether it be Anthony Davis on Instagram, a like by these players is something of substance. Should it be that way? Should we hinge our expectations, our thoughts on every little like that these players do? He might want to come to the Knicks, Anthony Davis. I don't know. I think it'd be a great pickup after losing Porzingis. Apparently the meeting with them did not go well for the Knicks and Porzingis, so they split ways. Porzingis goes to Dallas. Blockbuster move there. But what do you think? Should we judge these players' likes on Instagram as something of substance? Or is it all fluff and we'll have to see what happens as it happens? I like the latter. I'm not going to get wrapped up in a like or not of these Instagram posts by these players. I want to see how the cards unfold and see where it goes next. See where it goes next. The Anthony Davis saga is quite something else, though, because he does not want to stay in, I think it's New Orleans, I believe. He doesn't want to stay there. And they may not be picking up the phone, but, you know, it's going to come down to the wire again with that. Such a drama. And yet everybody's eyes are peeled on it. As the Pelicans are asking a lot, apparently, and the Lakers don't want to do it. But he liked an Instagram post by the Lakers. Maybe there's something going to come out of that. Crazy to think that a like on Instagram is a professional baseball, football, hockey, basketball player's indication of where they're going to go next. The rumor mill isn't just the rumor mill. It's the players generating the rumor mill now, which is kind of fun. But we shouldn't put all our stock in it. Just like, I swear to goodness, swear to God, we shouldn't put much stock in Robert Pattinson becoming Batman.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
I captioned it, good Lord, because someone's saying Robert Pattinson of Twilight is gonna be the Cape Crusader? Really? Rumors circling after Ben Affleck departed. Pattinson's name has emerged with some really strong backing on the internet. I mean, it's just a rumor. And if sources are true, then Robert Pattinson is going to be your Bruce Wayne? I don't know. I hate to say it, but if they do go with Robert Pattinson, they will lose the masculinity of Batman, don't you think? It'll just be another example of the fragileness that they want men to appear as. I'm sorry, it's the truth. Because if Robert Pattinson becomes Batman, the strong Cape Crusader might just be a guy wearing a sheet. And I wouldn't stand for it. I know there are a lot of people on my page that wouldn't stand for it. And I really hope that this is not true. Because if Robert Pattinson gets the nod, there goes masculinity in the comics, right? That was kind of why we gathered around the comic books or gathered around the series. Superman flying through the air. That's pretty damn leader-oriented. Cape Crusader. Put the bat logo up and he's there. Wherever the bat signal goes, he's there. Now, of course, kind of funny because Pattinson played a vampire, if I'm not correct, and I'm not mistaken, in the Twilight series. It's kind of funny, right? Vampire into Batman now. But really? That's going to be our 21st and 22nd century Batman? Ugh. Can we have a little more support for the hard-working guys who are blue-collar and not some fluffy, thin, thin, whatever you want to call him, in Robert Pattinson? That's not Batman. Not even close. So I hope they change their mind. I hope the president stays strong tonight in the State of the Union. I hope we figure out where all these players are going to go before the end of the year. I mean, come on. Spring training is a couple weeks away. Where's Machado? Where's Harper going to sign? I don't know. And I hope that Batman is not Robert Pattinson. With that, I'm Alexander Garrett. Have a beautiful, beautiful night. Enjoy the State of the Union. Feel free to stand up if you truly feel like you're hearing what you like from the president. And I'm sure there'll be some reaction on Twitter, on Facebook, and the like. I'm Alexander Garrett, Alex G and NYC. That's Alex G in NYC. And that's on Twitter. And then alex.garrett21@yahoo.com. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon on Keeping It Real with Alexander Garrett.